howdy neighbor, how is your garden growing? Mine, well, we've done a ton of cleanup in preparation to be able to do the next round of plantings. And I am really excited to switch gears away from my vegetables and move back into my wildflowers, because I love my wildflowers and what they do for all of our native wildlife, from butterflies to bees to birds. So let me talk you through what I'm thinking, because today we're gonna go shopping for some native plants. So if you're looking for some inspiration on some wildflowers to add to your garden, or you're just looking to hang out, that's what we're gonna be doing today. So today, with what I want to be able to do, what we're gonna be focusing on is really this section, working on filling this out. I think I bit off a little bit more than I can chew with trying to design this whole area. So I just wanted to kind of finish this off for spring. And here's what I'm thinking so far. One, we love our salt and pepper plant. This one has been gorgeous. And I wanna add some more. And because I'm trying to get this cottage garden look, I love this mounding and I wanna kind of continue it a bit. So what I'm thinking is adding another salt and pepper right here, and then one on this side. Now, we're not gonna just have salt and pepper all over the place, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix in wildflowers in between. And one of the ones that I wanna do is this marsh rattlesnake master. Loved it through the summer and the fall. And it's coming back. It looks gorgeous. It's actually gotten wider. If you remember, this plant was much smaller. And I bet if I could, which I don't want to start trying yet, I bet I could divide out some of this, because you can kind of see like this is almost like its own plant. I bet we could, but I'm not ready to try that yet. So what I'm gonna go do is I'm gonna go buy, what I'm thinking is 3 more. So we're gonna get 3 more salt and peppers. And then I'm thinking we put another marsh rattlesnake right here. Then we're gonna come forward in between the salt and peppers to break them up a little bit, because they have those tall shoots with those like little button type blue flowers. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. I'm thinking another one right here. And then because this area tends to be a little bit wetter because we have our sprinklers right here, what I'm also thinking is we're gonna add in some pink swamp milkweed, because the milkweed garden that we've always done back there, a little too shady. So I'm thinking what we'll do is we'll just add some more pink swamp milkweed into this section. We already have some butterfly weed, and I think that will look really nice, because when it does bloom, we've got kind of this lighter blue flower, the white flowers, and then when it blooms, we'll have the pink. Also, by putting it close to the salt and peppers, it'll give a place for our caterpillars to hide. And it'll fill in this space, and we'll get kind of closer to this section so that I don't have to weed as much. The next thing I'm thinking about is this area back here. So we still got some plants going from last year, like our Joe Pye weed. This is gonna get taller. It's gonna get us about 3 feet tall. We also have our partridge pea, which is filling in, but it's gonna be slow. It also will get about 3 feet tall. But what I like that we have going on over here is my favorite wildflower, Coreopsis leavenworthii. We bought some last year. It went a little bit dormant through the winter time, but we've got the one there, the second one there, and I'm thinking of just kind of filling in this space a little bit while these ones get bigger by putting 1 or 2 here and then 1 over here, just to kind of make it nice. We're gonna make it nice. I would put some here, but the pumpkin seems to have taken over, and I think the starry Rawson weed, once it gets a little space from these pumpkins, it will start to take off a little bit better. Now that still leaves us some space in here, and we do have some plants like Liatris that's coming back over on that side. Some are coming back, some are not. We'll see what happens kind of throughout the year. I am not sure what reseeded right here. It could be a Paliflox or something else. I don't know, we'll find out. It's definitely native, it's just something. So if you recognize it, feel free to drop it in the comments. But what I'm also thinking of adding in is either vanilla plant or Florida paintbrush into this area. I think those pinks would look really pretty, contrasting with some of the other colors. And I do have some butterfly weed that I propagated last year, which did come back, hooray. It looks like my swamp milkweed, I probably got done a little too late for doing my little seedlings. So we'll be filling in this space. So I'm gonna look for tall wildflowers for these sections, because even though I think we'll have the grounded salt and pepper, I still wanna kind of go strong in this area with lots of bright, vibrant colors. Thinking we're gonna pick up some more purple coneflower in here somewhere. Again, we'll probably add some milkweeds. We have the green eyes that actually did really well, and so that one's gonna continue. We'll leave that one there, and we'll see if we can pick up a little bit of wildflowers. And then this is kind of where I'm gonna stop, because This I can easily buy 20, 25 plants and just to here. And I really want to be mindful about getting lots of plants in because we're in the high bloom season. So I can pick up a lot of stuff that can really fill in this area. And also by filling in the area, I can keep out weeds and things I don't want. So that is the general game plan. Now, I was already doing some looking at my 2 native nurseries, Wilcox and Little Red Wagon, and like everybody's buying native plants, which is awesome. On the one hand, it's awesome, but it's not so great because as I'm trying to go get some stuff, it's all sold out. So I'm gonna have to go to both stores to get as many things as I want to get, and I'm not gonna even be able to get all the things that I want to get. But that's neither here nor there because I've got some gift cards from Wilcox, and so that's where we're gonna be heading first to see how many of the plants that we can get for where I'm thinking we're gonna go. So I just made it to Wilcox. I'm gonna go do a quick sweep around, just kind of get an idea of what they've got and how it's looking, and then I'm gonna take you guys in and start showing you what I'm getting or just some other interesting plants. So I've gone and scoped out the whole place. There is more than I thought there was going to be here. Got a little bit of vegetables in my hand. But the other thing is that there's a few native plants that they said they were going to be out of stock of, and they actually have. So that's very exciting. So we're going to go pick up stuff. Though I have some questions for some of the nursery workers because there were a couple things that weren't labeled that we need to get labeled so that we know what we're buying. So I'm grabbing some vegetables. I know we were doing natives, but these are $1.99 a piece. And honestly, where are you gonna get vegetables that cheap for transplant starts other than starting your own? So I'm gonna grabbing a few peppers and tomatoes while I'm here. So now we're gonna focus on getting some native plants. Let me show you what they've got. They've got more rain lilies, which I'm really excited. Our 5 that we have are doing really well. Don't know that I wanna get more. I wanna get more, but I won't get more today. So many. Aw, their green eyes are starting to bloom. We have the one. I don't know that I'm gonna get any more of these right now. Didn't think they had any, but they do, and that is blue-eyed grass. I love blue-eyed grass. This is gonna be coming to bloom really soon. And so I wanna get some of this, and I wanna put this right along actually the street line because it does well with moist areas, and you can get it really close, and it's not gonna spread a lot. I have this in another area, but the frog fruit's honestly taking over it. So I think I'm gonna get some of this and put it near the edges and allow it to spread slowly over time. Here is one of the plants that we got last year. I think mine, I planted too late for them to really come back, / if they reseed, they couldn't get through the mulch. So I'm gonna get another couple vanilla leaves to pop in throughout. Hands down, one of my favorites. I always call it Coreopsis leavenworthii because that's the scientific name, but hands down, this is like my favorite. It's also known as Leavenworth's tick seed, which is a terrible name. This is potentially our state wildflower because our state wildflower is just Coreopsis. So any of the Coreopsis that are native to the state would be our state wildflower. This is really pretty with a yellow flower that kind of bobs in the wind. So I'm very excited for when this one blooms. So we're gonna get 3 of these. Another plant that we can move pretty close to the edge, it doesn't spread aggressively where it's gonna be a problem, is Stokes aster. Very compact. It does grow over time. I think I might get a few of these. So I'd say today I feel a lot better about my impulse buying. Still impulse buying. That definitely hasn't changed. But there's some plants that have been super tempting, especially because I want to get them, but they said they were sold out online, but they actually had them, like scrub blueberry. I was like, oh, I should get one of those. I was like, it's not on your list, Jacqueline. It's not in the plan for that area. Don't grab it. And then they have this swamp rose, which I just learned was a native rose. I know a lot of people are always asking for native roses for Florida, and I've never been able to give a recommendation. I just learned about this one. Now, of course, I want it, but since it gets 8 feet tall, I won't get it, but I want to. There's a couple more things. I think most of our purchases here are in this blue purple range from blue-eyed grass. Well, I guess coreopsis isn't, it's yellow. But they got cone flowers, which I know I want to put in a different area, but we're not working on that area today, so I will not get them. I do think they have purple cone flower over here that's not labeled correctly. It said it's basically the marsh rattlesnake. They call it something else here. It doesn't really matter. I know that's what it is. That's what the scientific name matches, but the leaves don't match, so it makes me think it's something else that's been mislabeled. So I want to go get someone and verify that I'm not misidentifying something, because if they do have purple coneflower, because one of them says purple coneflower, one says it's rattlesnake, and one says white pentas, which it's not a penta, and it's definitely so we got a question. Plus one of their stick plants over here doesn't have a label, and I'm like, how am I supposed to know what this is? They're generally really good about labeling, but there's a few plants here that I've been like, But before I grab someone, you want to see the rose? So here are the rose plants. Yes, they look like sticks right now because we're coming out of the winter, but look at what that flower is going to look like. That swamp rose. Oh, that's pretty. I want to get that. I'm not going to get that today, but I want to get that. And this is even more tempting. And if you don't know what it is, that's okay, but look, it's already budding. So pretty. This is the pinkster, the native pink azalea. It looks so pretty. I want it. But it's not part of this project either, so we won't do it for now. What's the chance that I come running back for these plants this week? I'll be like, I figured out a spot just cause. I've wanted a pinkster azalea or a flame azalea. They're so pretty, but I don't know. So yeah, let me go find someone to ask about this plant, because it says it's the, what are they calling it? They're calling it blue flower orango, but the scientific name says Eryngium aquaticum, which is why it's good to know the scientific names, because even in the native plant community, there's a lot of common names that are used very differently, even between nurseries. So the Eryngium aquaticum here is being called blue flower orango, but then at Little Red Wagon, they call it marsh rattlesnake master. So, I mean, but I know it's Eryngium aquaticum, but the leaves look massively different. But then again, it's in the wet area, like not the wet area, but like where they keep some of the plants that you would put kind of in muckier areas. So I gotta go find someone, because the leaves don't look right at all. Okay, here's another plant I want to get. American elderberry. I want this one too. Dang it. I have a project that's coming up that I want to get this for, but not today. Not today. Won't get it today. So I talked to one of the workers and they confirmed this is the Eryngium aquaticum. So even though the leaf structure is very different, maybe they're the start leaf. I don't know. So you know what? I'm just gonna get them, and we'll be able to see if this is like a variety difference or what's going on. So I'm gonna get, I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna get them, and if it ends up, we'll just make it. We'll just do a thing, and then I'll still pick some up at Little Red Wagon when I go there. So yeah. And then I asked them about a lot of the other flowers that I was thinking of. That some they said they had, and some they didn't say online. But I guess what they're doing is they're kind of going between winter inventory and spring inventory. So a lot of the plants are coming in the next couple weeks, but I can't wait. So we're gonna get what was on the list and what wasn't on the list. And then I'm gonna go to Little Red Wagon a little later. So we've gotten 3 of the Eryngium aquaticum. So they're calling these the blue flower Eryngia, AKA marsh rattlesnake master. We got 2 Stokes asters, 4 blue-eyed grasses, 4 coreopsis, and then 2 vanilla leaf, aka vanilla plants. So I think we've got enough for right here. And then a little later, we're gonna go to Little Red Wagon, and then we will go and make this magic happen. Oh, plus I got some veggies. We're heading out. Gonna take those plants home, and then probably tomorrow we'll go over to Little Red Wagon. So we've made it to Little Red Wagon Nursery, and we're gonna see if we can pick up most of the other items that we were looking for. So I just scoped out the whole area, and they definitely have some of the plants that I wanted to make sure I got here, which was the original marsh rattlesnake master. They have it, but some of them look different. Some of them look right. I don't know. It's weird, but we'll still get some. They have the pink swamp milkweed I wanted to get. They definitely have my salt and peppers I wanted to get. They have lots of things I want to get that weren't on my list, but I also saw that they have beach verbena, which I have been thinking about adding into the area because I love the beach verbena where I have it right now, but it's not getting quite enough sun. Y'all know I've got challenges with sun, so I do want to add in a little bit more up front, so I'm going to grab some of that. So let's go start grabbing some plants. Again, they are testing me on my willpower. I want to get one of these tinctures so bad. So bad. I'm really digging this cluster vine. Oh, it looks so pretty. It's a full sun, and I don't have a good trellis to put it on right now, but what I gotta say is, you're on my list. I want you. Oh wow, they got a giant starry racemine. That has been a great bloomer this year. Yep, that's a good one. That's definitely worth adding into your garden. And I know a lot of people here that we have our own native plumbago, but the white plumbago that usually sold at stores is not the same as our actual native one. This is what the flowers look like. So just for those who are always thinking about it and think they have it, you may not. There it is. This is one of the plants I want to do for my backyard garden, the tea bush. So pretty. And look at this. Look at the silvery leaves. All these pink flowers. So it gives it this silver pink look from a distance. So pretty. There's crossvine. Man, there's some really pretty vining flowers right now. So frustrating because I lost that trellis to Hurricane Ian. I need more trellis space. I can put all the flowers, all of them on there. And one of the good things about Little Red Wagon is they always have a ton of milkweed because they put a lot of focus on butterflies. So they literally call it Milkweed Lane. So all of this is milkweed. So they're never out of it. So if you're ever looking for a lot of milkweed, I always am like, I don't even think about going to the other places. I'm just like, let's just go here because I know they'll have it, like a lot of it. So the two they have a lot of right now is aquatic milkweed, which this one actually will do really, really well. It does the white flowers, and they're a lot smaller. But this one does really well in semi-shade and shade. So if you're ever worried about like, oh, I want butterflies, but shady, think of the aquatic milkweed. That's AKA Asclepias perennis. That's the one you want for shady locations. Does great, but it's a lot more thin, and it will survive through the winter. It doesn't actually go dormant like our other milkweeds do. And then of course they always have a lot of pink swamp milkweed. This one's really, really good. I know they're gonna be starting to pull in, I think, some butterfly weed. Both places are starting to get butterfly weed, which exciting. Looking forward to it. Now, if you're thinking about getting milkweed, we've talked about this in other videos, but you honestly, like, don't just get one. You will hate it if you just get one, because as soon as those monarchs, which the monarchs, they're out now, the ones that tend to kind of go a little quiet in the winter but stay here in Florida, they're out. They're about. I've been seeing caterpillars, chrysalises, butterflies. We're getting tons of them. So you don't want to just buy one, because one little caterpillar is going to decimate this. And if it's not established, then you lose your plant. So what you want to do, my number is 6. I think you need at least 6, which seems like a lot. But these do come back year over year if you get them in the right spot. So it's not the end of the world. Plus, they're really good at seeding once they get going. So you can get seeds for them too. But don't, so I always say, like, get at least 6 plants. You get as many as you want. I've just been through the cycle enough times with butterfly gardeners of, like, they put one in, then they're stressed out because their monarch ate it all the way down. So you need way more than one, more than 2. I mean, I'm gonna say at least 3, at least 3, at least. And next up, we're getting some marsh rattlesnake master. This is the one that I have in my garden with these longer leaves. But if you look right here, this one also, like, maybe there's a different, look at this, variety of Ravenly. Okay, so this is for sure the one I want. So we get that one. Now, I wonder what's different with these ones. To see, these look, you see what I'm saying? These are like the ones that we picked up at Wilcox. The leaves are very different. These look way more aquatic than what I got. But there's 2 of the type that I want. Oh, and there's multiple plants. We love that. So maybe we can break it up gently and give ourselves lots of plants. Okay, so cool, we got those. There is our salt and pepper. Can you believe what's the difference in size of these plants versus what we have at the house? Insanely different. Oh my gosh, so small. And then it's gonna become this beautiful mound. I swear, I always wanna impulse buy more here, but the wagon is like the literal preventer of me buying more stuff, because it's like, you're already stacking plants. You have to be done now. So I guess I'm done. But this won't be it, because honestly, there's so many yellow flowers coming in, and what I'm thinking is that while this one section that I'm working on is more like pinks and purples and in the blue kind of area, the next section I think I'm gonna do like yellows and yellow reds and orange. There's been so many pretty, like, black-eyed Susans, orange cone flower, of course Starry Rawson we know is gorgeous, and my Coreopsis is my favorite, and then even though it's technically not native anymore, blanket flower, you know, so all that, just thinking, yeah, I could put that in. Okay, let's go make our purchase and then we can head home.